Listen close, you need to hear this. I'm not the same as I was. I might not be so bright and shiny. I may have changed from who I was. My name is Tiffany. You want my last name?
Yeah.
Tiffany Lorene Jingor. The band is Kipani. I am the lead singer and the key player for like local shows on occasion. I grew up in Great Bend, Pennsylvania, and then I've been in Binghamton for, gosh, I don't know, since like 2008. So I'm from here now. I'm a townie. It was interesting. It was cool because all of my cousins lived within like a mile radius of each other, less than. So we could just bike around. You know, it was the 90s, early 2000s, so there were no cell phones, and that was really cool. I think that was a nice childhood. I also am mixed. We'll bring that up too. So my high school was very white, and it was a well-known thing that me and my sister were mixed. So we dealt with like some things, and we kind of laughed it off. But looking back at it, it was now, if it happened now, it would be an issue. So, well, I mean, like our nicknames were like the Turbinator, and and we just laughed at it. We're like, yo. But the worst part is that they also called us the wrong kind of Indian because they called me Pocahontas all the time, and I'm like, so not quite.
Christopher Columbus.
It was interesting because all of my dad's family lives in New York City, so we went to New York City all the time. We went to Queens and stuff. Whereas a lot of the people in Great Bend, they really don't venture out. And I feel like me and my sister just got we had so much more culture, and we didn't really know where we fit in with our peers because they just didn't have the same viewpoints as we did. And actually, yes, we do. Wait, actually, let me bring this up. So me and my sister, a long time ago, thank you, Mike. That was a very good point. We actually have what, we don't know, what is it called? It's called imposter syndrome. Me and my sister suffer from it a lot because we are mixed, but we're white passing. So our dad's family, who is Indian, and granted they were brought up more culturally Indian. They, went to ceremonies, different things. My dad wasn't as religious as they are. We are the white girls in the family. And Mike has seen it firsthand with my cousins. We're the white cousins, the white girls. And we like don't know where to fit in. We're white, we're not white. I don't know. It's a very weird thing. I don't know. It really definitely did some mental things to us, Graham. We just never knew where we fit in. And we still don't, honestly. Like, we want to be able to, associate with this side. Like, when I see somebody the same culture as me, I'm like, oh yeah, but we're so white passing that, we kind of are outliers. My sister always thought that we'd start a blog and we'd call it Counterfeit Curry, because that's how we feel. Like a little racist, but it's okay because we can do that. But can we?
Hello, I'm Mike. I play drums in Kipani. Yes, I'm from Johnson City. It wasn't bad. I was gonna keep going, but you wouldn't let me elaborate. Yeah, it was good. I mean, it's Johnson City. What can I say? My sister started playing music, then I wanted to do it. And then I started playing drums in 5th grade. I played the trumpet, but I was walking down a hill in the dark and I fell and my teeth are through the bottom part of my mouth. So I couldn't play trumpet anymore, so now I play drums. I always wanted to play drums. My grandpa was actually in the Navy band as a drummer. My other grandpa was very into jazz music, and I always played big band music for me. So like Gene Krupa, Buddy Rich, he loved Frank Sinatra, so I always listened to that stuff at his house. And that's what made me love all that stuff. Like Sing 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 is my favorite song ever. Yeah, I started in 5th grade, and then when you get older, you can do more stuff. Like I was in marching band, jazz band, concert band. That's when I got friends with Sean, and we started a band with Mike Micha. I thought I was hot shit, and I really sucked. No, I loved it. That's what I want to do. Like, that's why I always just play and do everything. I also like playing other genres too. Like, that's why I do all this stuff.
So when I was young, I always remembered I took piano lessons at a very young age, and I fucking hated it. I hated piano lessons. I fought. I didn't want to do them. But now I'm so glad that I did. And I was always in band. I was a clarinet player, went to districts every year with the clarinet. That's definitely a brag, right? Like a district clarinet player. So yeah, I was first chair. I was. But anyway, no big deal. So I always had music. I did musicals all throughout high school. I guess I don't remember a time where I was never not musical, and I always wrote songs all the time. I mean, they sucked when I was a kid. Like, my songs sucked, but they got better as I lived life. It wasn't until I did musical theater and I went to school for musical theater. That is how we met. We met in college because I majored in theater. Hey, gosh, that was what, 2008? Yes, 2008. But I dicked around a lot. I didn't take it seriously, But then I started to take it seriously. I did auditions in New York. I was like, okay, I'm going to do film intensive, different things. So I really went in a more actory musical theater direction. But then I met up with my friend Tanya, downtown Binghamton. I think it was the Bar Crawl. We were going to Boca Joe's, and we had the radio DJ Tanya. No, my friend Tanya. My friend Tanya Griffin. I've known her my entire life, and we still bounce. She's a fantastic singer, and we still bounce ideas off of each other and help you. Oh my God! All right, we helped each other out a lot still, and we got together. We were very drunk, and we're like, we should write songs together again. We're like, yeah, let's do it. But then we actually followed through with it. And we have some music videos on YouTube which are hidden in the depths of the internet. We were Tanya and Tiffany, and we used to go to downtown Binghamton with our burned CD of our music, and we'd be like, DJ, spin that track, and they'd be like, fuck you. But then we'd be like, come on. And then they'd like play one song and the dance floor would clear and nobody would be out there but us just like jamming to our own shit. But yeah, so I wrote a lot of songs with her and we recorded. And when I tell you we recorded like in some junky ass, I wouldn't even call them studios. It was like a computer microphone. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the old white microphones that like they bend. And so like our first stuff was looped beats that we edited. And yeah, that's how we first recorded. So me and Tanya were recording and she had like this big jug of tea. And this guy, I don't even know, it was like in some junky ass apartment. And we recorded one day. She left the tea there because we were coming back tomorrow. So we came back to the studio the next day and she's like, oh God, my voice is so raspy. I'm like, oh, your tea is here, Tanya. Shook it up. I'm like, oh, it's room temp. It's fine. She drank it and she spit it out and he goes, that's not tea. He had pissed in the jug that night because he wouldn't get up to go to the bathroom. So she drank this man's urine. And that is how my music career started.
My name's Rob Egan, and I'm the artistic director for Blast, which is the bold local artist of the Southern Tier. And we are currently housed here at the Cider Mill Stage. I'm originally from Johnson City. I was born and raised. And then when I went to college at Fredonia. And then I kind of stayed in Western New York for about 20 years. With a few stints, I had a year or two that I moved to New York City. But mostly it was in Buffalo. And then I moved back to the area in 2016. I have always loved music and theater. And I think a large portion of that was because my sisters were both older than me, which I like to remind them. Both danced. And so I kind of grew up in a dance studio. And doing that, I always was watching performances. The music that they used was a lot of times musical theater music, songs from old shows. So I think my love and my passion for that started at the dance studio. And then as I sort of grew up a little bit, like I also took dance classes, but then I would sing in the chorus at school. And yeah, and I think that's where I developed my love for that, and then, got more serious, took private lessons, and all of that, which led me to go to school to be a music teacher. I did a lot of productions when I was in high school, and, one of the first things, like when I was in school, 8th grade was at the high school, and I remember my 8th grade year, I was playing football, as one does.
As one does.
As one does. And I also got a role in the school play, which was Arsenic at Whole Place. And, that was very exciting for me, because I was an 8th grader, right? So, yeah, I've kind of always done that. I was in productions, but I also like to direct and that sort of stuff. And I remember my senior year of high school, we used to have every 3 years in Johnson City, they would have what they called the Singabration, and they would bring all of the choral programs from all of the schools together in one concert. And at the end we would do this big number together that usually had some choreography. And I remember my senior year, I was the person that did the choreography. And so I got to travel to the elementary and middle schools to help and teach and do that. And that was also very fun. Well, I think the biggest takeaway was that it felt very natural, and I loved it. So when I went to Fredonia, I started as a music ed major. And one of the things that I noticed, so in Johnson City, our music program was pretty strong, and we not just had our choirs and our bands and orchestras, we also had a show choir, the Sophisticats, that I was part of, and the musical was a really big deal. And what I realized is, why aren't they teaching us how to do those things in college, right? A lot of us are going to go, at that time, I thought I was going to go and be a music teacher. A lot of times those responsibilities fall on you when you go into a school district or a program that has some of these things in place. And I was they didn't really do that. So, and I love show choir. And so I decided to start one. I got some friends together, we created a group through the Student Association, and we started a show choir on campus called Vocal Point. And it lasted for many, many years, which was something that I was very proud of. because you build something and it kind of sustains. And just recently, we just closed our Hadestown Teen Edition, our summer program, and our music director for that show went to Fredonia much later than I did. But he was the music director of Vocal Point, and we found that out after some conversation. And I just thought that was kind of cool how the world sort of connects in the way that it does. And yeah, like I thought that was really interesting. And I was also really proud that like it's sustained for a period of time. I think it probably changed and developed into some other things. And I think as, you know, every new director, music director came in, they had their own experiences, their own ideas, their own sort of vision, which I think is the great thing about art, is that it can change and develop and evolve. And that's the piece that's really cool, because no one has like the best idea or the right idea. You have an idea and you put it out there and other people have theirs, and hopefully you get to work with people and collaborate to create something really awesome.
I just rented Titanic.
So it kind of organically did. I was in a show at, it's called, it's Blast Theater now, but it was a different company owned it at the time. It was at Cider Mill. And I had still been writing music, and I make like a lot of beats, you know, I was making like loops and stuff just for my own purposes and writing. And somebody I was in the show with was like, oh, I need a beat for this song. And I was like, oh, I actually kind of do that. And so I sent him over this thing, and he was like, oh, this is really cool. Can you sing a hook on it? Sure. And then we did like another project together, and that introduced me to Dave Rice, who is a former bass player in this band, which if you want, we can get into that. So that kind of all formed. I did a collaborative project, White Trash Summer it was called, with Adam Holly, and we did a music video, and I sang a hook on it, and I did the beat for him. And then it was like, well, you need a name for this musical person who you are. So that's why I was like, okay, I'm Kipani. It took, my mom lived in Hawaii. This is the backstory to that. She would send me little memorabilia, kitschy things all the time. And I had this keychain, and I was looking at it, and it was my Hawaiian name. Tiffany means, it's Kipani in Hawaiian. And I was like, this actually is kind of perfect. So it started off solo, Kipani, and then recording with Dave Rice in his basement audio studio. So I'm working with Dave Rice, and he kind of is like, well, I love all these songs. We're just producing songs. So we have this EP that we do called Take a Minute. And it's all me and him doing the production on it. I bring him the song ideas, and I sit and we'll piece it all together. So that was like the first solo thing. And then it's like, we should really play together and form a band. Well, he was playing some bass, and then we brought in another friend to do, he was playing guitar. We brought somebody in to do bass. And then that guy was like, hey, I know a drummer.
So I played, and then me and another guy started a local band called the Troubadours. We were playing out and all this stuff. And then there's not a lot of drummers in the area that could read music. So I started playing musicals. And then I was playing a show called The Wedding Singer, and all of a sudden I get a friend request from some random girl. It was Tiffany. Never met her. We had a lot of mutual friends, but she friend requested me, and then later messaged me, and we had a mutual friend named Joe Hoffman who was playing with her at the time, and Dave was on drums. Joe was playing bass, and they wanted to put Dave on guitar, so they wanted me to come in and play drums. So I said, okay. So I showed up with one practice with Joe Hoffman, and then Joe Hoffman left, and it was just me and Dave and Tiffany.
So then Mike came in and he played a little bit with us. So we formed this band. And then actually Mike had to step away. He's like, I don't think I can commit to what you need me to do. And then the one drummer we were working with ended up having to back out last minute right before a gig. And I called Mike, and he's like, I will temporarily do this with you, but I can't commit to doing it for a long time. And that was like 6 years ago.
I knew the songs. So I said, yeah, I'll come in and I'll do the couple shows, and then once you find somebody, I'll play. I'll leave. 6 years later, still waiting.
After Fredonia, when I left school, I actually worked at the Gap, and I worked there for about 15 years. And yeah, so my path was not conventional by any means, but it was fun. I was good at it. I enjoyed it.
It was still popular.
It was still popular because this was still the early 2000s when people still went to malls and bought clothes at a store and not online. And yeah, but it had a lot of aspects of putting on a show. So I felt like when I was running stores, it was, we had a set, right? Where are the clothes placed? How are they designed? What do the mannequins look like? Right? What's the aesthetic? What's the aspirational message we're trying to get people to feel when they come in? There's a script, essentially. What are we saying to people? How are we making them feel? Even to the lighting of how we light the images and the clothing, all of that. So I feel and there was a playlist constantly going, which now I hear songs and I can tell you what season and year it was on the Gap album. And so, yeah, so it kind of had a lot of those same aspects. And yeah, and then what happened was I never planned to stay there. I just was good at it. I kept getting promoted. And it was fun. I did not perform when I was working at the Gap. So that was something that I remember talking to some of my friends about. I miss this. But the schedule is not set. I traveled a lot, so it's hard to commit to a performance. But I did go, I need to start singing again. And so, I did join the Buffalo Gay Men's Chorus, which was really fun because it gave me a chance to just sing with friends and make music and have some community around music, which was really good for my soul. So I did notice that the gap wasn't, I wasn't happy, essentially. And it was also retail was starting to really die. And at that point my position was like as a visual merchandising manager. So I was like, these are the ones that go first, right? So it was something where I just was like, this isn't like what it was. I don't get the same things. And I remember I actually called my dad and I said, I'm gonna quit my job today. And he was like, okay, right? Like, nice, yes. And it was something that I did. And I said, this was really great. It gave me a lot of great experiences, opportunities. Like, I loved it, but now I need to do something else because I do not see myself doing this when I'm 50 or 55, right? Like, so I ended up coming back here in 2016. And when I did, I actually started working for the Southern Tier AIDS program. And I ran the LGBTQ Youth Center and also some HIV testing programs. Again, it was sort of a different kind of a thing, but it was, I feel like, what I needed at the time. And it was great work, and I was proud of the work that I was doing. And it was at that time that I went to UE High School to see a production of the Laramie Project. I think it was like May of 2017. And I was sitting there, I was like, gosh, like, this is like great. I would love to figure out a way to do this with kids from the center. And so I was like, I want to do this as like a reading because it was in that October was going to be the 20th anniversary of Matthew Shepard's death. So I called our development director, who was a friend of mine, and I was like, hey, I want to do this thing. Do you know anyone locally that could direct it? And that's when she told me, call Kate Murray. So I go, okay. So I called Kate Murray and said, hey, I want to do this thing. Do you think you could direct it? And she's like, yeah, let's have a conversation. So we, spoke and we decided that we were going to do this as a staged reading. And it was really great because we had, kids from the center. We had area high school kids. We had community members, active theater actors, and even our executive director. And, at first I'm like, oh, if like we get like a handful of people, that would be exciting. And that night we got 300 people. And it was really a great event. It was really impactful. And the most awesome thing was there were kids from the center that sometimes were very shy that like went up and performed in front of people and felt, this confidence, which is, I think, the magic of what we do. So that reading was sort of the catalyst for why I'm sitting here today. So Kate was doing another project after that and was like, hey, do you want to be a part of this project? And I was like, okay. So we did that. We did some other things. And, after rehearsals at night, we would go out and have late dinner or drinks. And as we were discussing things or, complaining about things, eventually we were like, you know what, we should start our own theater company. Like, what's stopping us? So we did. And that's how Blast came about. And then the first show that we did as Blast was over the End of the Rainbow, which was here at the Cider Mill Stage. But, we like rented the space. It was like unofficial. It was something like we signed a contract to rent for that one the show, the run of the show. It was great because the audience was, people were here. We were doing like shows that people loved, that our community loved. From that, we're like, okay, like what's the next steps, right? So we started looking at other spaces, like where can we go? When we were thinking about that, and we were thinking about like what we wanted to do and what we wanted our space and our theater or our company to be, we landed on, because at one point it was the bold local actors of the Southern Tier, and we're like, but we're not just that, like there's so many more things. So that's how we landed on the bold local artists of the Southern Tier, because we wanted to showcase not just like theater arts, but visual arts, music, We had a craft show here where we highlighted our local vendor, like our crafting art friends. And in a couple of weeks, we're going to have someone who wrote part of a book. So like, there's all of those different sorts of art forms. And the fact that we wanted to focus it on local, right? And the fact that we have so much local talent here that, sometimes people go, oh, like, they're local. It's like, yeah, they're also very talented. They just happen to like want to be an accountant, right? As their career. That does not diminish their talent. It just,
or their commitment.
Or any of those sorts of things. We have people in our community who are just super talented. February of 2020, we were back here having a conversation about creating a season the following year. And in that conversation, we were doing another production somewhere else, and COVID happened. And it was, the world shut down, and we all lived in that moment. And then even throughout that COVID phase, like, we had gone looking at buildings and spaces. And then in the spring of 2021, we reached back out to here, and the gentleman who was managing the space at the time said, hey, like, let's have a conversation. So we came back here, and he basically was like, I want to retire. So we ended up taking over this space in July of 2021. And then we ran our first season, and now we're going on our fifth.
Tell you why, well, I could tell you a lie, because I'm nervous. It's the way it's been, it's the way it's always been, since I was younger. I am afraid of mostly everything, and it's too late to change. Yeah, I'm scared of my basement when it's dark with no lights on. I get anxious when people use knives incorrectly, and I hate ordering food, cause that means I'll have to talk face to face. And the anxiety of knowing that I'll be in a big crowd makes me weak in the knees every time I think about it. I'm scared myself.
Then Sean joined the band officially, and I think we went like headfirst into production. I think that it was a fresh start. It was somebody that Mike had known his entire life. It was somebody that had been kind of in our circle. He showed up to a video shoot with me, Mike, and Dave. I didn't know him at this point, but he did like a behind the scenes thing. He started messaging me, and then he kind of like organically worked his way into the band. We played a couple shows with him and Dave collectively, and then we had a gig, and Sean was there, and then he was like, let's do this. I want to do production, this and that. We were like all in. We were touring. We were putting out videos. We were doing it was just going. We were signed to like this record label. We had manager, all of this stuff, right? And so that's how Tom started touring with us, because he came in last minute. And then that was great. You know, Tom is amazing. He stepped in. It was a really intensive show that he had to learn. There was choreography. There was like acting involved with like miming different things. It was a tough set, and he did it with so much grace, and he was very professional. And I understand Tom's in a lot of projects. So he did say, he was like, yeah, I'm going to join. But then he's Tom Jolu. He also has his own stuff. And I said, anytime that it doesn't work for you, that's fine. So it was too much for him to take on, because it's a lot. Like, you can't, two bands that are like really, that do a lot, that's hard to be into like that. So now it's me and Mike, and we've adapted to being the duo. We've done it before, you know, so that's kind of where we're at now. And we're doing our own production, everything. So it's refreshing. It feels like we got it back. I feel like it feels great, because I trust Mike to be Mike and authentic, and he says exactly what he thinks. There's no filter with this person. If he doesn't like it, or he's like, no, I don't like this, or I like that, or you can tell. And he's a very intelligent drummer, and he can hear those like rhythms and counter rhythms, and I trust his musicianship. So for us to be able to collaborate and not have somebody that's like pushing us in a certain direction where we don't want to go has been really nice. You know, we kind of have like that freedom to create this new sound and create a sound that's like truly authentic. It has, like I said before, created these very identifiable chapters. You can hear all the different sounds and the evolution based on Take a Minute, Lotus, Spoiled Ingrates, that. Like, you can hear all of those things happening. You know, you can hear, okay, this was this time. It's a whole evolutionary story. That's why I don't want to ever, like Mike was like, why don't we delete this stuff? Like earlier he was asking, I don't ever want to delete it, because that's like our history, that's our past. You know, we're very open about it, and there it is.
Swift it and
yeah,
just redo it.
We could just redo it. Yeah.
When we say our season, it's the shows that we produce that are part of that time frame. So there may be other things that get put in, but essentially, like this season coming up, there are 6 shows that are part of our season, sort of 3 in the fall and 3 in the spring, which is a mix of plays, musicals, and then of course the Christmas Carol, which will be back for its 46th year. And that's what we consider to be our season. And then, you know, we sort of have some things that we do in the summertime. But when we talk about like the season package, it's like those shows basically every other month is a show. Kate and I typically select the shows, and we read and all of those sorts of things. We have lots of people that go, hey, like, check out this show, or they bring a play, here, try reading this is great, I think this will work for the space. And then it's, you know, it goes through a process that we think about, like, okay, like, is this something that's for a general, like a mass audience? Like, is this something that like most everyone can find something in it to relate to or be entertained by? When we get that sort of first round, we kind of go back through and then go, okay, like, oh, these shows are very similar, so we can't necessarily do both of those. We're going to choose one. And then based on what shows get land, other ones get bumped. And it's really kind of an interesting process. And sometimes, like, you go into it going, oh, I'm definitely doing this show next year. And that show ends up out of the season because it just doesn't work with everything else. I'm super excited about our season every year. And it seems that every year when we're done, I'm like, oh, how are we going to beat that, right? And somehow people still leave shows going, that was the best one yet, which is great. And as long as we can continue to do that, I think we'll continue to be successful. I think what's contributed most to that success is, first, we've come into this building, which has been part of the theater community and part of our community since 1978. One of the things that we had to consider was the history that has happened here, and how do we honor that? How do we honor the people that have been supportive of the theater here all of those years, who, thankfully came back and going okay, we need to provide shows that people like, that people want to see, that people find entertaining and engaging. I always end all of our curtain speeches with the tagline, sit back, relax, and have a blast. And that's true. We want people to come and be able to escape for 2-3 hours and just have fun, right? And I'm sometimes you'll think, sometimes you might even cry, but it should be an experience where you can come and have fun and find joy. So I think that's one of the things, and I think it's just, knowing that we need to be good stewards of this building that has, brought the community together for so many years. Marketing now is a lot harder than it was in the past. We don't have a central location that people go to for their information, where in the past it was the newspaper, right? And on Thursdays was the good times, and it would be here's all of the things you could do this weekend. So you could and most everyone had access to that, right? Now that it's not like that. It's not even people, the other one is people used to watch Action News, right? WBNJ.
Yep.
And so it's you can't even guarantee that, because people are on their phones, right? They're getting their information from Facebook, from TikTok, from
Everything.
Instagram, right? All of these different sort of things. So it's hard. So we do have some presence on social media, which is where we have to do a lot of our marketing. But even in that, there's its own challenges, because they all have their own formats, right? They all have their own audiences, and then they all need content created for that audience in that format. It's no longer we'll just put an ad in the newspaper. So it's doing that. It's trying to come up with other ways to get information out and to create a way that people are excited and interested in the show that we're going to put on. So the thing about directing plays or musicals is that it's in the word play, right? So we get to play. So you're on, you have this vision, you bring all of these people together to sort of work towards that. And I always kind of look at it as I'm the director, kind of like a CEO, but I have all of these experts, right? So I have my lighting expert, my sound expert, my set experts, my costume experts, and then each actor is their own expert in their character. And my job is to sort of just guide them all together to create the product. I have to trust that they can do their job, right? That's why they got chosen to do that. And I think that's where it becomes fun, and when everybody sort of comes at that level and is prepared and ready to sort of work and collaborate, then we can sort of play. And that's when I think you get some of the greatest result. I'm creating this, right? We're creating this space for these folks to come and to have this sort of shared experience. And part of that means we have to do marketing, we have to do budgets. All of those things that go into what we do in putting on shows, and all of the people that play a role in that, which I think is the part that I'm always most in awe by, that all of these people, whatever the role is important, and that everyone kind of has to do their job in order to make it work.
Did we get on the right track? Are we
of your life till we reach the end of the line. Oh, oh, oh,
I'm going all in, alright. If we're on the same page, won't ask it twice. So get on and make up your mind.
oh, oh, oh.
Are you still on the same track? Or did you change yourself way back? Are you on board with me?
Oh, oh, oh.
There's room for you in this car. I've already ridden it this far. Maybe it's meant to be. Oh, oh, oh. 'Cause I'm riding all through the night. If you wanna join me, ride of your life till we reach the end of the line.
Oh, oh, oh.
I'm going all in, alright. If we're on the same page, won't ask it twice. So get on and make up your mind. Oh, oh, oh. 'Cause I'm riding all through the night. If you wanna join me, ride of your life till we reach the end of the line. Oh, oh, oh. I'm going all in, alright. If we're on the same page, won't ask it twice. So get on and make up your mind.
I think the reason that this place has become an institution is mainly because I think we need shared experiences. We need places in our community that we can actually just come and be connected. And the thing that I love so much about theater in particular is that, you know, people come in, every performance is different, and it's those moments where you can laugh with strangers, right? Where any of the outside world stuff kind of doesn't matter. We're all sort of sharing in that moment. We're laughing together, we're crying together. And I think that that's really important. And I think in a world where like technology is supposed to connect us, I think in a lot of ways it's disconnected us. So it's kind of like a time for 2 hours where we can put down our devices, or at least we should. And I try to remind people at the beginning that they should turn them off or silence them. And you know, and you can live for 2 hours without looking at your phone or your watch. And just kind of being in the moment. A lot of times, like, we as people don't live in the moment, and sometimes this forces us to sort of just be in the moment. And I think that's still really important. I think it's still really important to come and see your neighbors. You know, as we continue to grow and develop, it's like a little bit bigger, right? All of those things. When you start, there's like, it's kind of like, you know, a little startup company, like, oh, I just hope we can get this, or like, oh, this would be awesome if we could do this, right? But I think the thing that's the same is like what I was saying before, is like, it's still like magic to me. Like watching a show come together is still like, oh, and then when we strike the set and this goes back to just a black stage, I'm always like, oh, like, I'm like surprised at how it can change. No, I'm like surprised at like how like we create this world and then we literally just take it away. The other thing, like I said, is like the audience. Like I love watching audiences react to a show. So even when I've seen the show a billion times, right, and we're on the final performance, I love watching the audience watch the show. Because if they're in it and they're having fun and they're at intermission telling me, oh, I didn't expect this, or this was great, or this, like, that's what brings me joy. I'm never good at those projection things, because 5 years ago I would never have said, I'm going to be here doing this, right? So I would hope that, you know, we would still be creating theater in our community at high levels where people could come and, you know, actors and creatives can come and do their art, and that we still have people coming that would appreciate it.
Any common misconceptions that people have about Blast or the Cider Mill that you want to dispel?
So we are still open, because that is something that's still, you know.
Well, because the news said the Cider Mill Playhouse is closing, but what
Yes.
they meant was the company, right?
Yes. So that was, and like, the Cider Mill Playhouse was both the company and the name of the place, right? So we still are like, nope, we are still open. We are still doing the theater thing. Also, we don't make donuts here. They make donuts out front, but sometimes during the off season, people will knock on our door asking for donuts. We don't make donuts.
Oh, I think this is better.
I love
Like,
this.
we're fancy.
A little shake and bake.
The top hat sells it.
When you guys are just together, what's that like now when you guys are playing shows?
I mean, it's like second nature to me. I feel like it's just, we've played these songs. They're like kind of, it's in your muscle memory, you know? And we just know, we just bounce off each other, and it's just kind of like, okay, like, it's just.
It's a little weirder for me. I mean, it's fine, but it's a little weird for me because now that there's, like, I'm always in the back, but now I'm kind of like more up. So like we have to like interact with each other.
There is a learning curve there, because now we're doing more harmonies, and Mike's, you know, still playing drums, and it's like now we have this new challenge of finding our dynamic as a duo and being, like he said, like kind of together versus like separate, you know?
In like zones, rather.
Right.
Which is going to be fun when we go to travel and the drum set's set.
Yeah.
It's fun playing with each other.
We're going to rephrase that. It's fun to play
So
with each
I was
other.
talking.
I think just like be able to create, you're so hungry, being
Oh,
able to
that's- I
create
might have to
together and just kind of seeing this, you have this idea and then it becomes more than that, and then you see it just come to fruition. It's like so cool.
It's just fun playing with like feeding off each other's energy on stage and stuff too. Like
Yeah.
I was telling somebody yesterday, I'm like, I can sit downstairs and practice with my headphones on and play, but it's boring.
Yeah.
Like when you're playing with a group of people and
Playing live.
playing live, it's fun.
I think now, I feel like we've kind of hit a stride in some of the online traction. We've been doing it for years and years, and it's kind of crazy how all of a sudden it just clicks, and then we're riding this wave, right? So
And it's funny,
we
that's
have
all
a
pun
new-
videos when
I
I'm
know.
the king of puns.
It's all, and now we have this new viewership and this new audience that's going to discover our music, and I think that's pretty cool because it's going to open up some more doors for maybe different shows that we could book and
Support spots.
Yeah, support spots. And
It's like an evolution from like if you.
Is this like the truest Kipani we're gonna get?
So far, yeah. I mean, there's never going to be like everything's going to be the true Kipani because it's like
Yeah.
it's where you are in that stage of your life.
yeah, this
that's
is like
just
who
evolving.
we are now. You know what I mean? This is, everything has been true because we are so authentic. I do, Jesus, Mike. But I feel like where we are now in
Hear
this
it on this.
stage in our careers, this is the sound. Like it's just gonna be, when we go back and listen to it years later, like this is where we were at this time.
This place, it doesn't feel the same. I don't think it ever will because how much has changed. Not here, it's been the same for years. But what is different is with us and not this atmosphere. Let me know when you're free. We'll go get bubble tea. Do you still order yours? I'm fine, just like I've always been. Make you laugh over the years, but never let you in. So tell me when you're free, we'll go get bubble tea. Do you still order your double boba? Oh no, you can't, okay. Rain check another day, till you're slipping away. When all my friends are gone, I will choke on something. Watch as we move along, while I take one step. I'm happy for you, it's too hard to tell that I never grew up. When all my friends are gone, live forever, and I won't feel alone. My friends are gone. I will choke on something. Watch as we move along, while I take one step. I'm happy for you. It's too hard to get that I never grew up. When all my friends are gone, we'll live forever, and I won't feel alone. Yeah, I won't feel alone.
So that has really, in all honesty, drained my creativity in terms of writing new material. So I feel like once that comes back, I'm gonna be really interested to see in where it goes.
Bitch, you got like a whole fucking book.
I do have, I know.